Have you ever wondered if animals can truly sense when we need them most? Today, I'm going to share with you one of the most beautiful and heartwarming stories you'll ever hear. A story about a girl who couldn't speak up and a puppy who couldn't find his voice, and how together they found the courage to face the world. This is the story of Lily and her German Bulldog puppy named Cooper. And I promise you, by the end of this tale, you'll believe in the healing power of unconditional love. But be warned, you might want to grab some tissues because this journey will take you through moments of heartbreak and triumph that will stay with you long after you finish watching. Lily was 12 years old when our story begins, and to anyone looking at her from the outside, she seemed like a normal, healthy child. She had a loving family, a nice home, and everything a kid could want. But inside, Lily was fighting a battle that no one could see. She suffered from severe social anxiety, a condition that made everyday interactions feel like climbing a mountain. Going to school was torture. Speaking in class was impossible. Even simple things like ordering food at a restaurant or saying hello to a neighbor made her heart race and her palms sweat. She would freeze up, her mind going completely blank, unable to form words even when she desperately wanted to. Her parents, Michelle and Robert, had tried everything. They took her to therapists, tried different medications, enrolled her in social skills groups. Some things helped a little, but nothing made a significant difference. Lily would come home from school exhausted from the effort of just getting through the day. She ate lunch alone in the bathroom because the cafeteria was too overwhelming. She never raised her hand in class, even when she knew the answer. Her teachers were understanding, but concerned. Her grades were suffering not because she didn't know the material, but because she couldn't participate in group projects or give presentations. She had stopped going to birthday parties and had slowly lost touch with the few friends she once had. Michelle would often find Lily crying in her room after school, overwhelmed by the simple act of existing in a world that seemed to demand constant social interaction. It broke her heart to see her daughter suffering so much. Robert felt helpless, unsure how to reach his little girl who seemed to be disappearing further into herself each day. They continued searching for answers, for something, anything that might help Lily find her way back to the world. What they didn't know was that the answer was waiting for them at a small animal shelter across town, in the form of a scared little puppy who was facing his own struggles. Cooper's story began in a puppy mill, one of those terrible places where dogs are bred over and over with no regard for their health or well-being. He was born in a cage, taken from his mother too early, and sold to a pet store where he spent his first months of life in a small glass enclosure. People would tap on the glass, and the loud noises and constant staring terrified him. He would hide in the corner, shaking, unable to understand why the world felt so scary. When he didn't sell quickly like the other puppies, the pet store eventually surrendered him to a local shelter. The shelter workers noticed immediately that Cooper was different from other puppies. He was fearful, skittish, and wouldn't make eye contact. He would cower when anyone approached and refuse to eat when people were watching. The shelter staff wondered if anyone would ever want to adopt such a nervous, troubled puppy. Now here's where fate begins to weave these two stories together in the most unexpected way. Michelle had been researching therapy dogs and emotional support animals, wondering if a pet might help Lily in ways that traditional therapy hadn't. She read studies about how animals can reduce anxiety, provide comfort, and offer unconditional acceptance without judgment. She discussed it with Robert and with Lily's therapist, and everyone agreed it might be worth trying. One Saturday morning, Michelle suggested to Lily that they visit the animal shelter just to look. Lily was hesitant, anxiety already creeping up at the thought of going to a new place. But something in her mother's eyes made her agree. The shelter was loud and overwhelming. Dogs barked from every direction, and there were strangers everywhere. Lily held her mother's hand tightly, her breathing already becoming rapid and shallow. They walked past cage after cage of dogs, all jumping and barking, eager for attention. Each one made Lily more nervous, more convinced this had been a terrible idea. She was about to tell her mother she wanted to leave when she saw him. In the corner of the last cage in the row, there was a small German Bulldog puppy, not barking, not jumping, just sitting quietly with his back to the chaos, staring at the wall. Something about that image stopped Lily in her tracks. While all the other dogs were desperately seeking attention, this one was hiding from it. While the others were loud and demanding, this one was silent and withdrawn. Lily understood him in a way she had never understood another living creature. She approached the cage slowly, and Michelle noticed the shift in her daughter immediately. Lily knelt down and spoke softly, barely a whisper. "Hi there, little one." Cooper's ears twitched. He slowly turned his head, and for the first time since arriving at the shelter, he made eye contact with a human. His big, soulful eyes met Lily's, and in that moment, something passed between them. A recognition, an understanding. They were the same, this girl and this puppy, both scared of a world that felt too big and too loud. A shelter volunteer named Maria came over and told them about Cooper. She explained that he had been at the shelter for 3 months, which was a long time for a puppy. Most people wanted the playful, confident ones. Cooper had been overlooked again and again. Some families had shown interest but changed their minds when they saw how fearful he was. Maria was honest about his challenges. He would need patience, training, and a family willing to work with his anxiety. He might never be a typical outgoing dog. As Maria spoke, Lily did something she rarely did. She spoke up without being directly asked a question. "Can I meet him?" she asked, her voice quiet but clear. Michelle's eyes widened in surprise. The volunteer smiled and opened the cage. What happened next is something that still makes Michelle cry when she talks about it. Cooper slowly, carefully approached Lily. He was shaking, clearly terrified, but something was pulling him toward this girl who understood him. Lily sat perfectly still, letting him come to her in his own time. When Cooper finally reached her, he did something he had never done before. He climbed into her lap. Just like that, without coaxing or treats or any encouragement, he chose her. And Lily, this girl who struggled to touch or be touched by others, wrapped her arms around him and held him close. They stayed like that for several minutes, a scared girl and a scared puppy, finding comfort in each other's presence. Michelle knew immediately that they weren't leaving that shelter without Cooper. The first few weeks at home were challenging for both Lily and Cooper. The puppy was afraid of everything, loud noises, sudden movements, even his own shadow. He would have accidents in the house because he was too scared to tell anyone he needed to go outside. He barely ate and wouldn't sleep unless he was touching Lily. But here's the beautiful thing. Lily didn't see Cooper's anxiety as a problem. She saw it as something familiar, something she could understand and help with. For the first time in her life, instead of being the one who needed help, she was the one providing it. She researched how to help anxious dogs. She learned about desensitization techniques and positive reinforcement. She created safe spaces for Cooper and established routines that helped him feel secure. Every morning before school, Lily would spend 20 minutes with Cooper, sitting quietly together, sometimes talking to him about her worries for the day ahead. Cooper would listen, his head on her lap, and somehow having him there made everything feel more manageable. When Lily came home from school, exhausted and overwhelmed, Cooper would be waiting by the door, tail wagging tentatively, the only creature in the world who was purely, completely happy to see her. He didn't care if she had spoken in class that day or if she had eaten lunch alone again. He loved her unconditionally and slowly. That love began to heal something in Lily. As Cooper began to trust and feel safe, something remarkable happened. He started coming out of his shell, and as he did, so did Lily. She started taking him for short walks around the neighborhood, which forced her to go outside and interact with the world. When neighbors stopped to admire Cooper and ask about him, Lily found herself able to answer, to have brief conversations, because she was talking about her dog, not about herself. Cooper was like a bridge between Lily and the world, making social interaction feel less threatening. At home, she would practice speaking to Cooper, reading books aloud to him, telling him stories. He never judged her when she stumbled over words or when her voice shook. He just listened with those understanding eyes. Michelle and Robert watched in amazement as their daughter slowly began to transform. It wasn't a sudden change, but rather a gradual awakening, like watching a flower bloom in slow motion. Lily started joining the family for dinner more often instead of eating in her room. She began talking about her day, sharing little details about school and about Cooper's progress. She even laughed sometimes, a sound they had almost forgotten. The therapist noticed the difference too. In their sessions, Lily was more open, more willing to discuss her feelings. She would often relate her experiences to Cooper's anxiety, and in helping him, she was learning to help herself. By the time 6 months had passed, both Lily and Cooper had made incredible progress. Cooper was still a somewhat nervous dog, but he had learned to trust his family. He no longer hid when people came over, though he preferred to observe from a safe distance rather than greet them enthusiastically. He slept through the night without whimpering, played with toys, and even had a favorite spot in the backyard where he loved to dig. Lily's transformation was even more dramatic. Her therapist suggested that she might be ready to try something that had been impossible before, a challenge that would test everything she and Cooper had learned together. The school's annual talent show was coming up, and students were required to participate as part of their grade. The old Lily would have been paralyzed with fear at this requirement. She would have begged to be excused, possibly even refused to go to school that week. But this Lily, the one who had spent months helping a terrified puppy learn to be brave, had an idea that shocked everyone, including herself. She told her parents that she wanted to participate and she wanted Cooper to be part of her presentation. She wanted to give a speech about overcoming anxiety, and she wanted to show everyone how she and Cooper had helped each other. Michelle and Robert were stunned and a little worried. What if it was too much? What if she froze on stage and the experience set her back? But Lily was determined, and her therapist, after some discussion, agreed that it could be a powerful step forward if Lily felt ready. The weeks leading up to the talent show were intense. Lily wrote her speech, working with her therapist to craft something honest and meaningful. She practiced every single day, first alone in her room, then with Cooper as her only audience, then with her parents watching, then with her younger brother added to the crowd. Each level was harder than the last, but she pushed through, and Cooper was always there, sitting beside her, his calming presence giving her courage. There were moments of doubt, nights when she would cry and say she couldn't do it, that she was crazy to think she could stand on a stage in front of the entire school. But then Cooper would rest his head on her knee and look at her with those trusting eyes, and she would remember how far they had both come. The night of the talent show arrived, and the school auditorium was packed. Parents, teachers, and students filled every seat. Backstage, Lily was shaking so hard she thought she might collapse. Her heart was pounding so loudly she could hear it in her ears. Her hands were ice cold and clammy. Every instinct in her body was screaming at her to run, to hide, to escape. Cooper, sensing her distress, pressed against her legs and whined softly. She looked down at him and took a deep breath. She thought about all the times she had comforted him when he was scared, all the patience she had shown him, all the encouragement she had given. Now it was time to give those things to herself. When her name was called, Lily walked onto that stage with Cooper on his leash beside her. The sight of the crowd hit her like a physical wave, and for a moment she couldn't breathe. The lights were so bright. There were so many faces. The silence was deafening as everyone waited for her to speak. Her mind went blank. Her carefully memorized speech disappeared completely from her memory. She stood there frozen, unable to move or speak. This was her worst nightmare coming true. She had failed. It was over. But then she felt something. Cooper had sat down and pressed himself against her leg, and his warmth, his solid presence, reminded her why she was there. Lily looked down at Cooper, took a shaky breath, and began to speak. Her voice was quiet at first, barely audible, but the microphone picked it up. "My name is Lily, and this is Cooper, and we're both really scared right now." A ripple of sympathetic laughter went through the audience, and somehow that helped. She continued, finding her words now. "A year ago, I couldn't talk to anyone. I couldn't raise my hand in class. I ate lunch alone in the bathroom. I was so scared of everything that I wanted to disappear." The auditorium was completely silent now, everyone listening. And a year ago, this puppy was so scared that he lived in the corner of a shelter cage, unable to trust anyone or anything. Lily went on to tell their story. She talked about the day they met, about recognizing herself in Cooper's frightened eyes. She talked about the hard days and the small victories, about teaching him to be brave while learning to be brave herself. She explained how helping him had helped her, how his unconditional love had given her the strength to face her fears. Her voice grew stronger as she spoke, the words flowing more easily. Cooper sat perfectly still beside her the entire time, occasionally looking up at her as if to say, "You're doing great." When Lily reached the end of her speech, she said something that brought tears to many eyes in that audience. "Cooper needed someone to believe in him when he couldn't believe in himself. And I needed someone to love me without expecting me to be anything other than who I am. We saved each other, and if we can do it, anyone can." The applause that followed was thunderous. Students and parents rose to their feet, giving Lily and Cooper a standing ovation. Teachers were wiping their eyes. Even the principal, a stern man who rarely showed emotion, was visibly moved. But the most incredible moment came after the performance. As Lily walked off the stage, several of her classmates approached her, students she had never spoken to before. They told her how brave she was. They shared their own struggles with anxiety and fear. For the first time in her life, Lily had real conversations with peers, and it felt natural and right. Cooper, tired from all the excitement and attention, stayed close to her, his presence giving her the confidence to engage with these new connections. That night changed everything for Lily. The video of her speech, recorded by the school and posted with her permission, went viral online. Messages poured in from people all over the world who had been touched by her story. Other kids with anxiety reached out to share their experiences. Adults who had struggled their whole lives sent messages of thanks, saying her courage had inspired them. Local news stations wanted to interview her. A national morning show invited her and Cooper to appear. But perhaps the most meaningful response came from a message from a mother whose son had severe social anxiety. She wrote that after watching Lily's video, her son had agreed to try therapy again and wanted to adopt a dog from a shelter. Lily had not only saved herself and Cooper, but she was helping countless others find hope. The months and years that followed brought continued growth for both Lily and Cooper. Lily joined the school's drama club, something that would have been unthinkable before. She still had anxiety, still had hard days, but now she had tools to manage it and a faithful companion to support her. She made real friends, kids who liked her for who she was. Her grades improved dramatically as she became able to participate fully in class. Cooper became a certified therapy dog, and together they began visiting other children who struggled with anxiety, showing them that recovery was possible. The scared little puppy from the shelter had become a healer, just like the girl who had saved him. Michelle often reflects on that day at the shelter when Lily and Cooper found each other. She thinks about how easy it would have been to walk past Cooper's cage, to choose one of the happier, more confident puppies. She thinks about how close they came to missing this miracle. If they had visited the shelter on a different day, Cooper might have already been euthanized, as the shelter had been discussing it given how long he had been there and how difficult he was to adopt out. If Lily hadn't insisted on meeting him, if she hadn't seen herself in his frightened eyes, two lives would have turned out very differently. Instead, they found each other exactly when they both needed it most. Robert loves to tell people about the day of the talent show, about watching his daughter, who used to hide from the world, stand on a stage and bare her soul to hundreds of people. He talks about the pride that filled his chest so completely he thought it might burst. He describes Cooper sitting there so calmly and faithfully, a perfect partner and support. He says it was the best moment of his life, better than his wedding, day, or any professional achievement, because it was the moment he knew his daughter was going to be okay. She had found her strength, and it had come from the most unexpected source. Lily is now 16 years old, and while she still has Cooper by her side, she doesn't need him the way she once did. She has grown into a confident young woman who advocates for mental health awareness in schools. She has given presentations to school boards and counselors about the importance of understanding anxiety disorders. She has written articles for teen magazines about her journey. She has helped numerous families connect with shelter animals that might be perfect companions for their anxious children. And through it all, Cooper has been right there, the constant in her life, the friend who started her on this journey. Cooper is getting older now, moving a bit slower, his face gray around the muzzle. But he still lights up when Lily comes home, still sleeps curled up against her at night, still seems to know exactly when she needs extra comfort. Lily knows that one day, hopefully many years from now, she will have to say goodbye to her best friend, and the thought breaks her heart. But she also knows that the lessons Cooper taught her, the courage he helped her find, will stay with her forever. He showed her that being scared doesn't mean you can't be brave. He taught her that healing isn't linear, that there will be setbacks and hard days, but that progress is still possible. Most importantly, he taught her that she was worthy of love exactly as she was, anxiety and all. The story of Lily and Cooper teaches us so many important lessons about mental health, about the healing power of animals, and about the incredible resilience of the human spirit. It shows us that sometimes the most broken things can help heal each other, that weakness can become strength, and that fear can transform into courage. It reminds us that we should never underestimate anyone, whether they're a scared 12-year-old girl or a traumatized puppy. Everyone has potential waiting to be unlocked. Sometimes they just need the right key. For Lily and Cooper, they were each other's keys, unlocking doors they thought would remain closed forever. Their story also highlights the importance of animal shelters and rescue organizations. Cooper's story could have ended very differently. He could have been one of the millions of shelter animals who never find their forever homes. But because someone gave him a chance, because a shelter worked tirelessly to care for difficult cases, and because one girl looked past his fear to see his potential, he became a therapy dog who has touched thousands of lives. Every animal in a shelter has a story, has potential, has love to give. We just need to be willing to see it. If you've been touched by Lily and Cooper's story, I hope it inspires you to look at your own challenges differently. Whether you struggle with anxiety, depression, or any other mental health issue, please know that you are not alone and that help is available. Sometimes that help comes from unexpected places, from a therapist, from a support group, from medication, or from a four-legged friend who understands you in ways no human can. There is no shame in needing help, and there is incredible strength in seeking it. Lily's courage to keep trying, to keep searching for what might help her, ultimately led her to Cooper and to her own healing. Your courage to keep going might lead you to your own breakthrough. So now I want to hear from you. Has an animal ever helped you through a difficult time? Do you have a story of overcoming anxiety or finding unexpected help? Have you adopted a rescue animal who changed your life? Please share your experiences in the comments below because these stories matter. They give hope to people who are struggling right now. They remind us all that we're not alone in our challenges. Your story might be exactly what someone needs to hear today. And if Lily and Cooper's journey touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story. Share this video with anyone you know who might need to hear it, especially those struggling with anxiety or those considering adopting a rescue animal. Let's spread the message that healing is possible, that love can come from unexpected places, and that sometimes the most broken souls make the best healers. Thank you so much for watching and for being part of this community. Remember to be kind to yourself, to be patient with your journey, and to never underestimate the healing power of unconditional love. Until next time, hug your pets extra tight and know that every day is a chance to take one small, brave step forward, just like Lily and Cooper did.